Welcome back to Zelf on the Shelf, the YouTube channel that Dave is obsessed with. The lore of it all. The addiction to my phone of it all.
Oh my goodness. The Delulu twins are back and we are more delusional than ever.
Stay delusional, everybody.
Live your wildest dreams. Start the world's first claymation podcast with your best friend. Send a love letter through YouTube.
Then you'll be able to court your Christian fundamentalist friend crushes, so it'll be okay. You won't mind that your claymation podcast only got 2.5 thousand views.
The journey's not usually linear, is what we're saying, and what's most important is just being fully delusional online, and then wow, what a day. What a series of days. I don't feel like I've like slept or had a real thought in days, or eaten anything. I like try to eat, my body's like.
Just throw up in my mouth a little bit.
We did it! We did it, Joe!
But it's just my vomit.
They broke us. The internet broke us this time.
What a gift for extremely online people everywhere the last week has been.
I loved that one comment, I think, on Bethany and Dave's video. I think
that's the one I'm about to read.
Oh, perfect. Bring it up, Jamie.
It was from How the Turns Stables on YouTube. Someone, what kind of stuff are you watching? Me, 10 hours into the Paul and Morgan girl-defined Dave and Bethy cinematic universe. It's complicated. So many layers into the, is it Hall of Mirrors? Or
Yes.
yeah. It was just this forever.
Yep.
This is the future of YouTube. Oh God, it's Bo Burnham's,
reacting to your own reactions of people reacting to you.
Yeah, this is really like performance art when you think about it. It's very adjacent to Bo Burnham's Inside. And yeah, we're watching Dave and Bethy's reaction video to the Paul and Morgan 24 Hours video that set the internet on fire.
Full disclosure, this isn't our first time watching it. We couldn't post our initial reaction because we figured 10 minutes of just screaming and manic pacing wouldn't actually be, you know, if you want that, you come to our live streams, okay? That's what those are for.
I love how we have the exact same coping mechanism for when like something really is exciting is happening, and also this is equally exciting to both of us. We just have to pace, like just power around the apartment. Yeah. Like, I was literally like, I'm gonna have to take it running again because there's too much adrenaline in my body. It's too energizing.
Oh.
Yeah. Soul work. Beautiful.
Yeah, so not the first time, but wow, it's gonna be a delight.
We had to do it with you because this is just kind of, again,
we deserve this.
We're all kind of in this together, and all right, we're diving in. We're watching at 110% speed just to shave off a bit because it's a long video. We might skip and summarize some section. I don't know how we're gonna do this. We'll all see. If you've just got here, I just don't even know how to catch you up. Like, you got to figure it out on your own, okay?
There's whole Reddit populations devoted to this at this point. Go find one.
All right, let's watch.
All right, let's blow the lid off this month.
Hey!
I got you on camera smiling in a cute and sexy way when I cursed.
Just the flirting immediately right off the bat between these two. I can hardly stand it.
The audacity.
Hardly stand it. Through cussing. Because I'm heartless.
Already just straight out the gate, like, I defy any stereotypes that have been made against me. We are fun and hot and sexy and cool.
If anyone's not prepared, they are going to defy every stereotype you have about them.
I was going to say, that was the other thing about the reason we didn't react to this the first time we watched it, is because we genuinely had no idea that this was going to happen. That it was going to be of this magnitude. Yeah. We just couldn't have prepared.
And also, it's not like we could have held off for a few hours to what, like, as soon as the video landed, we were both just like texting each other about it. Like, while we're like,
who needs waffles? Give me content.
Content addiction can just be so fun sometimes.
Okay, let's do this. Come on, it's third time's a charm. We've already restarted a couple times because we hate ourselves.
They're just like us for real.
I knew
we never re-record because we suck.
We were the stiffest grandmas you've ever seen in your life.
Anyway, I'm not going to act out the grandma, but
we're like not stiff people, but we've tried to film this like 3 times, and we're not ourselves at all. We're just like this. We're like, and then Paul and Morgan came, and how was yours?
I'm locked 13 layers in my mind castle.
Guys,
I'm sorry, I have no space in here.
Okay, that's
because... Are we filming?
We don't ever film together. We need to film more.
We're so bad at this. But we'll get better.
Okay.
Over the course of the next 50 minutes, they're gonna get so good at this.
It's really sickening. And I think we can all feel it in the air that this is the start of a beautiful new YouTube era for Bethany and Dave as a couple. And we're all so here for It's Not Even Funny.
This was when we went out on our very first date ever. Well, my dream, I told you this, and this might be like really forward. On our very first date ever, I told you about like how I thought we were like really special and unique because we were really good friends at that point, and how I thought we could have like a YouTube channel.
She's just like me, for real. That was me. That's always been me.
I'm telling you, all
my
the
fingers
girlies are
bleeding.
manifesting their deepest dreams and desires right now. And
Yeah, it's
those are coming true in the
spring.
form of YouTube content.
We've dabbled a
We
little
have
bit,
tried along the way a little bit.
but it's still my dream. Like that's my dream to do like YouTube or social media with you. So anytime we get to, even if we don't do it that often, so we have to kind of get back. This is so fun.
Yeah, we
for
have
me.
to get our YouTube legs back.
You just have so much to offer the world, and I love how we are together, and I feel like this side of me is so much more of like my real self, like the 24 hours with, and because I'm not teaching like so much of what people see of me on the Girl Defined channel, and it might be just like change it, but it's like
So don't do it.
It's so true though that the Paul and Morgan video was the start of it, but
Yeah.
Bethany really does have a whole personality that the internet just really hasn't seen. And it's so nice.
Yeah.
And also really relate to just having kind of an established on-camera way that you like. I've really like gone through the ringer with my like, just like how
Persona
I feel about.
problems.
Yeah, it's a. I think people that don't do YouTube don't understand like what a big thing it is. It's hard to, and I think people realize that if people that like want to become YouTubers, I think the first time it's something that looks relatively easy, but when you actually sit down to film a video, it's like really hard to just have like a regular personality on camera. And so we all kind of have our like tics or like, I don't know. I just like, I get it. So yeah, fun evolution.
it's like a different vibe. It's like teaching. It's like I'm a mentor. I'm a big sister. It's a different vibe. But this is really fun because it's just like whenever we are doing stuff, it's more like sharing our life, and I love it. So.
And the internet loves it too. If you go
Yeah.
through the comment section of this
I'm always
video,
in the comment section. I'm reading
I've
every.
been living in the comment section of this video. For the
I'm like,
past
anyone
day.
has anything to say about the situation, whether I've heard it 5,000 times before, inject it directly into my bloodstream. I want to hear it all.
Staple my eyes open and beam it directly into my retinas.
Let's get into our experience with, what did you say?
It's like, let him know. Convince him.
Oh,
Convince
you want
him
them
to
to
do it,
convince
yeah.
me. Let's get into this. 24
Do
Hours with
it.
Paul and Morgan. They were here for the weekend, and we took a heck ton of footage. They took a heck ton of footage.
Oh my gosh.
Bosses.
Which,
Fun.
okay, shout out to Paul and Morgan. They were awesome, and they did such a good job facilitating and
Yeah.
our conversations and running around with the camera.
We won't do as good of a job, but we will be just as fun and nice. No, we'll try.
Are you kidding? We're gonna have the the bits
Yeah, we will bring bits.
are gonna be out of this world.
Will we bring the kind of traps?
Ice
rear
bath energy?
delts
No.
that Paul has? No. Are we as good? No, we could do an ice bath.
They were very respectful to all of the random stipulations
Yeah.
about, don't film our kids and,
Don't film our neighborhood. Don't film our privacy.
That is just being a smart content creator in
Yeah.
2024. Honestly,
I've
that's
always
good.
had that mindset since before we even had like really many. I just think you should have that mindset from the very beginning because that stuff can easily catch up to you. Not trying to have a teachable moment or anything.
It wasn't originally going to, I wasn't going to be in it
Yeah.
nearly
I
that
know.
much originally. If you want to say what it was going to be, I don't want to.
Oh, this is quick. Crack, crack.
Basically, it was going to be Bethany and Kristen. Sorry, I'm trying to save us some time because this is so long, but it was going to be Bethany and Kristen, but then God stepped in, the universe had greater plans, and Dave did it. And thank God, because once again, I just feel like it's changed so many lives.
It's fun that Paul and Morgan were able to genuinely spur
Yeah.
what I see as a really, really big positive shift in internet discourse. The reason though that the Paul and Morgan, I'm sure the other videos, 24 hours with videos that they're doing aren't going to have the same kind of tone. It's because Bethany and Dave are in the
Yeah.
place that they are and sharing
Paul
the
and
ideas
Morgan
that they
scooped
have.
a great story.
Yeah.
It was good storytelling.
Really good conversations. Actually, I think really benefited our marriage in a lot of ways.
In the long run.
She's like, I have faith. that someday
No, I didn't mean that.
there will be, have had been some benefits of said weekend.
I was thinking the long run since that video until now is the long, and in the
okay.
long-
This is the long run.
This is the
I
long
gotcha.
run.
Okay.
It is just a great reminder that sometimes you have to go through shit to come out stronger on the other side.
Pretty much that's the only way. Is
And
like,
always keep that
to
in mind
go,
when you're
pretty
in the
much.
middle of the shitstorm.
And I would say the number one benefit is just honesty, just bringing up the sorts of conversations that that we have, but we hadn't had conversations like we did in the video in that topic. We had very honest conversations in other areas of our lives, but in that specific topic of specifically like the outward facing Bethany and the world and Girl Defined and the critics and all this stuff, we hadn't really gone there for a while like that deeply.
Also, I feel like when going through deconstruction or a faith crisis, I feel like you kind of often need these periods of time where you kind of just take your mind off it. Otherwise, you just don't survive that psychic intensity for, like, you need to be able to kind of dip in and out. That's why it takes so many people years. I feel
Again, the pain associated with growth, it's like building a muscle in a way. You have to
Yeah.
like kind of like
Yeah, you have to let the
deconstruct
dust
old
settle.
ideas, and then there's like a cognitive healing process and integration process that
Yeah.
naturally kind of plays out, but it takes time.
Yeah, the psyche reveals itself in layers.
God, unless you're in college and they're just like, learn everything right now. Blah, 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 blah.
What did we learn in college?
That's, I guess.
Because we know we disagree.
Because we know there are some disagreements, and
So it's like, why rehash it? We haven't ever gotten to the point where we see eye to eye. So it's like, we know, it's just kind of like we agree to disagree. And that encompasses a lot, not just like how we view in that conversation. It was like the haters, but it's like beliefs, what I do with Girl Defined, the stuff I write about, talk about. We've known we don't see eye to eye convictions wise on some of that stuff. So it can just be stressful to like rehash it when you know, like, why are you going to rehash it? We know we don't agree. So like, let's just keep moving forward.
Yeah, well, we will rehash it if apparently a small film crew comes to town.
We will be that small film crew, a crew of 2, 1 film camera.
Trying to rehash something in your life? We got you. Okay, so in this bit, it's a nice little bit with, again, just trying to save us time. They just talk about how Paul and Morgan were lovely, basically, and that they describe Paul and Morgan as, not the way that people in the snark community at least generally see them, in that they're very loving with each other. Paul's really funny, which I could see, and that's, they're both just like generally really nice people, and that's nice to hear from Dave and Bethany. It's because they, once again, feel like a lesson from all of this is like, we really don't know people based on just like YouTube videos.
Yeah. When watching
It's
Paul
both.
in that video, I even felt like watching it back and having Paul in the comments. I was like,
I know. I was
cringing
like,
so
"Ugh."
much at everything I said, because again, it was like, I guess a lot of things I say to people, I probably wouldn't if they were just right in my face, right? Like,
Do you know what it is though? I actually think Paul's point in the original video about how but like everyone likes to kind of pick the villain, and I'm like, that is actually a very human impulse. Again, it's like however much you're trying to be aware and kind, it's like we are all still storytellers at heart.
yes.
And so it makes sense that when we watch a thing like this, there is kind of a different, Dave's like the hero of the story, and I mean, I love storytelling, but it's just something to be mindful of for all of us.
Yeah. And, watching Paul in that video is like, he's just like any like LDS mission AP out there. And like,
he's so Mormon.
at the time I could get along with those people perfectly fine because I could see the sincerity, even though I couldn't recognize the problem. And so it's like, how do we, in conversations and what we're making, keep our hearts open to each other so that we can like actively engage with our ideas without that like ruining the state of our hearts toward each other. Anyway, it's just something I personally am mulling on.
If I was president, I would do a State of the Hearts address.
We are Marianne Williamson, and so can you.
So a lot of people are wondering, Dave, to what he sounds like he's deconstructing, to what degree?
Yeah.
And you have people that are kind of more.
Who's been wondering? Who's been speculating personally and privately in ways that massively overstep their credentials?
And you have people that are kind of more like, oh, he's a Christian but nice, or he's like not. He's just compromised his faith, or he doesn't have strong faith, or whatever.
Or some people are mad at Paul for like insinuating
Mad at Paul
more
for-
that
yeah.
you're deconstructing.
Yeah, which I would say in that case, with Paul and I, we also had more private conversations.
I do think that does add context to Paul. You know, it's not just that they're saying Paul and Morgan are really like polite in person. It's like Dave and Paul literally did have conversations that we weren't privy to. So maybe we like read certain things in Paul as like a bit snarky when, you know, he was,
But again,
Nice to hear.
very cool that they opened up intentionally opened up the conversation and posted it as a way of being like, here, let's just have like real conversations. Very cool.
Operating with more information than what you see in the video. And so, you know, get up off Paul, you know. So the bottom line is I had a new level of mental crisis that week that Paul and Morgan were here. And it started before they got here with some random men's group stuff I was doing, and as well as certain questions that I was asking. Even while Paul and Morgan were here, I was asking some people that know me pretty well, or what are my greatest weaknesses? And
very brave. I would never ask someone what my greatest weaknesses is. That's like the Dan Harris of the 10% Happier podcast, one of my favorite podcasts about mindfulness and Buddhism. He always talks about how he did this like report where he got like everyone who knew him to basically like tell him everything that was wrong with him. And I'm like, who is brave enough for that kind of inventory?
I think if I could do it, if it was all anonymous, you know, like I sent out an anonymous survey and all my friends did it, then it would just be easier. If it was like personally, I'd be like, oh, no.
Genuinely, if I wanted feedback, I would get it from you or Jared. And then it's the wider out you go, the harder it probably would get. I don't know.
I only take feedback from the cryptic symbolism of my dreams.
Not like feedback, but like if I was like, tell me everything that's wrong with, you know what I mean? That kind of.
I was
Inviting
just
all
going
this
for it. I was
criticism.
inviting a lot of criticism. I did this thing called, you know, this like hot seat thing where you
Humiliation kink, potentially.
Potentially. Or maybe he's not deconstructing, he's going Quaker. Isn't that something that they do? They like sit in a circle and pretty sure Amish. Any ex-Quakers in the group?
Pipe up now.
Friend?
sit there and these guys kind of like, you stand or sit there and the guys poke at you and try to kind of get you to, you know, get provoked, and then we talk about it, you know, talk about what comes up.
So it was kind of a rough week before Paul and Morgan got there, because you were like having all this, like inviting all this criticism into your life, and you were kind of like,
I was grumpy. And then I found, you know, one of the things that got me through?
what?
I'm just like, even her nails look incredible. She's like,
Is this the outfit that we complimented in our Holy Girl
think
Slay video?
she
Because
posted-
this right now is Holy Girl Slay. There's
remember
no
the
doubt about
one, it was in front of the mirror. He was wearing a black t-shirt, and I think she was wearing that, and we were like, hot couple. That's a good,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah,
look
yeah.
like a hot couple. I think that is that.
For the first time in, I don't know, 15 years, Billy Joel releases a new
Oh
song.
yes, that's right.
And it is phenomenal, and I loved it so much.
Maybe you love me, maybe you don't. Maybe you learn to, and maybe you won't.
Just casually
We
playing
had our
some-
reasons for being obsessed, okay? And it was just what resonated with us. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I
No,
get
that
so
was
excited.
great. I was just so excited at dropping a Billy Joel musical number. Just
Once
casually in
again,
the
so
video.
us coded.
The comedy musical bits we could write together. Just think about it.
Here, and I was listening to this song, and I might have been crying, I don't know. And
Because he's a crying man.
because I'm crying, man.
Shared law that we have with Bethany from Girl Defined, everyone.
Oh, the Crying Man Band. That's what we are.
Dave Matthews' Crying Man Band. So stupid, we don't have time for this.
And so I was already already in that space. And then we had a ton of conversations with Paul and Morgan and with Bethany about all these things. And I have a lot of differences with Paul, Morgan, and Bethany when it comes to just ideologically and, you know, values, Christianity, you know, all kinds of stuff. So then we had the dinner table conversation. That was the first day they were here. It's edited, you know, like it was the last thing, but it actually happened earlier.
The first day.
And then the next day, there was more stuff, more conversations, and then pickleball, which, by the way, they absolutely crushed us on. They
destroyed our
they
guys.
ate our lunch.
Well, when we play pickleball together, we're going to train so hard. Paul and Morgan will never see us coming.
Paul and Morgan do seem like people that would be amazing at pickleball.
Yeah, no doubt.
Respect.
If there was a lineup of YouTubers, I would
Morgan's pregnant
100%
as well.
assume that be like pickleball pros.
Pregnant and
Pregnant
beating them
pickleball
up.
pros?
Yeah, I know.
Paul and Morgan pickleball pros? Pregnant pickleball pros? Pick to pillar pickleball pros, pepper to thing.
Stop.
What basically happened is I got to this point of like, I've been circling deconstruction, just to use the term loosely. I'm okay with the term.
I'm not against it.
You're
but
not against it?
I'm not against it at all. I think there's this
yeah.
misconception that I'm against it, but it's more just like when you typically hear the term deconstructing,
It's become clear to me over the course of this that deconstruction is like a term specifically demonized in Christianity, because Mormons don't really like care about that word, do they?
No, that's not. They would
Like,
say
that's
maybe
almost a friendly word.
deconversion, maybe.
Yeah,
or,
Mormons would say deconversion. That would, but deconstruction isn't
or
really
selling your birthright for a mess of pottage, committing the
Stuff like
unpardonable
that.
sin.
Yeah, it just goes to show how certain words like just get all this like loaded.
Yeah. But it's kind of like, and people think like deconstruction, like something exploding and just, totally ceasing to exist in form, when it could be more like deconstructing. Oh God, in my head it was a toaster, kind of tweak your energy, but deconstructing a toaster, and then now you know how the toaster works. You like examine all the parts, and it's not this like mysterious thing that magically transforms bread into toast. You're like, oh, I can see all the ways that this is made. And deconstruction of Christianity, unpacking of Christianity is exactly that. It's like examining all the different parts, the history, how and why and by whom the Bible came to be. That kind of stuff. By whomst. Whomst, there it is.
I typically think of someone like completely deconstructing from their faith. And yes, I am deconstructing certain parts of my faith, but I personally am still very much like a believer in Jesus, and very much think what the, like trying to understand the word and living it out practically is important. So I don't want to be labeled. I don't really care for the label, I guess, but I'm okay with it anyway.
Can we just have like a round of fucking applause?
I know, it's like great.
Like, wow.
And also I'm like, yeah, great understanding of the benefits and downfalls of labels.
Yeah.
Claim your own.
This is like really amazing to just hear this kind of like frank commentary that we just haven't seen before. Or maybe we weren't willing to see before.
We couldn't see it before.
I'm okay with the term for sure, and I'll often use it. I know it's popular and it's kind of, rings a bell, so it's kind of easy. But there are kind of two different types of deconstruction that I think of when it comes to the popular stuff that is kind of happening, this trend, the trend that's happening. And one is, it's almost like you're consciously deconstructing in the sense of you're actively questioning beliefs and like, is this true? Is that true? And it's almost like you're taking things apart. And then there's the kind of deconstruction where people describe it as pulling a thread and it's just kind of like the whole thing falls apart. It's like you're not even going towards everything. It's just kind of like everything's sort of crumbling, and then
I feel like it's a bit of both for me.
And I would say for me, it feels a little bit more towards the first one, but I'm sure there's probably a mix.
Nothing at all.
Mine was literally taking down a whole entire tapestry, like thread by thread, and being like, okay, next one. And
mine was all of the threads landing on my head and me being like, shit. I know we've said it a million times before, but I'm like truly the most intense time of our lives. Like that phase. Like I don't think since I've experienced like such cognitive intensity.
Oh yeah. No,
truly like
not.
I am on the edge of madness.
Yeah. Remember watching that one movie, Interstellar, in theaters?
Having my first panic attack.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know why Interstellar was really triggering my faith crisis, but something in my soul was like, shit.
It feels a little bit more towards the first one, but I'm sure there's probably a mix. The things that changed for me through the course of that weekend with Paul and Morgan, and actually we were at Zach and Kristen's one night, and there was some conversation there, and through the course of all this, and then these moments of like surrendering, trying to just find my identity in Christ and get strength through that, and to be more emotionally stable, and all of this stuff. It basically, something broke over that week.
By the way, that thing that broke, Mormons refer to it as
the shelf,
which is why our name is Elf on the Shelf. It's because you put all your doubts and things on the shelf. Just ignore them. Don't think about them. Put them on the shelf.
I love how we just don't have a video about that, and so we have to answer everyone constantly, like what that means.
Yeah, why haven't we done a video about it?
I don't know.
Wow.
At this point, we have bigger fish to fry, and it's reacting to reacting to reacting to reacting to reacting to react.
And I didn't feel tied down anymore to like basically anything that would keep me from fully questioning my beliefs and my faith when it comes to this stuff. And I even found myself wanting Christianity to not be true just because of my own personal experiences with trying to have it be real in my own life, and just the disappointment that I found where it hasn't my perspective, it hasn't really seemed to help me. It hasn't really seemed to make me any more of a better husband or a better man. It seems like when I do other things that are more taking charge of my own development, it seems like I improve more. And then it seems like when I try to find my identity in Christ, it just doesn't seem to work. And so I got to this point where it's like, I hope this isn't true, because I don't want to go through life always having to think I'm the worst in order to find the life in Christ. And that whole thing where it sort of requires you to feel really bad, or to at least admit, oh, you're just sort of nothing, and you have nothing. And so that's why you need Jesus. And isn't it such great news? It's like, it's just stopped being good news for me.
Isn't that the most perfect articulation
Yes.
of it all? And such a thorough understanding of like the core problem
Yes.
with it. And obviously like the same things can feel different psyche to psyche. And it like everyone who deconstructs doesn't like end up in the same place as but like
Oh, I had chills through that whole bit, because I was just like, it's just so wild seeing it so fresh and so raw. Really like takes me back to that experience, being like,
such a formative time in our lives.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like this lens that was on your eyes, that was put on your eyes at birth, and has been there so long that you no longer even recognize it as a lens through which you're seeing. You're just like, I'm just seeing. But then once those are taken away and you're like really seeing for the first time, it's just really beautiful. Mm-hmm. There's a reason we love Dave, and that was it. He just
Who's Dave? Okay,
King Dave again.
I was
Perfectly
22
articulated.
when I went through this. You were what, 25 at the time? 24? 25?
Like 23 to 25.
Just because we don't share us again. We don't have a video really like concisely explaining our story. So I'm like, we should try and like throw in tidbits, because you gotta have a story.
Basically, if it's not working for me, then the answer is always, well, you really need to know God's love more, or
You probably were watching porn. You were probably a porn addict.
Probably.
If that's the Mormon flavor. Anyway.
or you're not trusting him, or you just need to find your identity in him and rest in that. And so it's like, it just becomes another work. Like, oh, I'm not resting enough. Why isn't this working? It's, so there was some frustration.
And if you're already like a deeply devoted, scrupulous person, then that like endless chore chart of like, oh, I have to do this in order to feel peace, and I'm not feeling peace. Well, it's because I'm guilty of something, so therefore I ought to be doing this. And, well, that's not working either. It's like, if you really, when you let go of that, you're just like, oh, again, I'm just a human being, a primate walking their home earth, and
It's like there's this
fine.
for so long, and then it finally snaps.
Frustration there. In addition to all the truth claims and all the things that have been circling for the last 8 years for me, even before we were married, all that stuff has been there. I've been very aware of a lot of arguments and podcasts and people and debates and all kinds of stuff. It's not like I've just been in this community where I don't hear influences. It's like I've known a lot about this stuff.
For sure. This wasn't the last
and over time, I've read more books, and I've learned more, and I've seen more, and so. But I felt constrained by myself, my own inability or lack of desire to challenge certain institutions that I'm a part of, or challenge certain communities, because that would throw things into chaos. That would, it would be hard to go to church. It would be hard to be married to Bethany. It would be hard to do a lot of these things. I'm established in Christian communities, so just
If that isn't the human condition,
Yeah.
it's terrifying, and we're not built to leave our communities
No.
or go against them.
Though I saw a James Baldwin quote going around on TikTok that was like, the paradox is the more you learn about history, the more educated you become, the more you become at odds with the culture that educated you, because you begin to like critically evaluate what's actually happening. And then of course you just become more critical, which in a true believer, Fowler stage 1, stage 2 person, sorry to categorize people like that, but to them,
Stage 1 loser. Here I sit at 6. So stupid. Culture is not your friend.
culture is the enemy.
Almost 1 year ago, because it was at the time of Lent, but last year, I had something like this happen, where I had all of these. I was like talking to a pastor, and I was like, I'm not sure I should be taking communion and whatever. And we had the question of whether to become members and all this stuff. And basically at that time, I was still kind of in this, okay, I can kind of like make the leap of faith. And so I just sort of took this leap of like, all right, I can believe, I don't know it, and I can't, this is not so rational, but I'll just like, okay, that's what faith is. Faith is just kind of, dedicating yourself and trusting and, okay, so I can, say what I believe even though I don't like feel it, because what is belief anyway, and I kind of used just relativism on myself and be like, well, we don't know anyway, so you just might as well dedicate yourself or whatever. And so, okay, all right, I'm a Christian and I can hold this.
I'd never do that.
That old Pascal's wager. Cut to shreds by Occam's razor, as was once stated in a famous ex-Mormon YouTube poem.
You slayed in that poem. That was this video.
Can we I again just am so impressed by Bethany's willingness to hold this space for this conversation. I genuinely think, I commented this on their video, but I think this is like the most open, authentic conversation about mixed faith relationships and deconstruction that I've ever seen. So as much as she gets branded as like this hateful, fundamentalist Christian, whatever extremist, the fact that she can just sit here and like listen and lovingly hold that space and be like, my faith is my faith and I love you and I like support you and thank you, like letting him just be honest about his experience, that is like a spiritual gift. That is like a personal strength that not a lot of people, regardless of your affinity group, have.
I was going to say, I don't think people that have never been extremely religiously devoted as we all were, maybe don't understand like what it takes for Bethany to have gone from like how she's felt in the past to like being able to create this level of space. Like it requires enormous internal upheaval, and the physical experience is like hell. Like your body is just like, get me away from, do you know what I mean? It's like unconscious. Like you just don't want to even go there because it's like, suddenly a lion is coming to eat you.
Yeah.
And it's hard to live like that,
Yeah.
You can usually only do it in bite-sized pieces, and there's just a lot that goes into it.
This conversation could have LDS families in like scream battles
100%.
of how dare you, satanic person, how dare you, like...
Sorry, I need to find my chapstick.
So again, just super, super impressed.
It's funny watching this video now after talking about it incessantly for 24 hours.
Oh, can I just say, I feel like my transition was exactly like Dave described. I had this initial stuff. It was friends coming to me and being like, they were asking me stuff about Mormon history, Joseph Smith's polygamy, churches, racism, etc. And then I was like, kind of knew at that point, like with some very quick digging, was like, ooh, this is bad. But then it was like, nope, this is where when faith really has to matter. Like this is where I prove that I like am truly determined to find out, and I am going to do it. And I spent the next 2 years like intensely studying.
I was lucky because I wasn't raised in Mormonism. I'd only been in it in 6 years. And then also I was lucky because you basically handed me all this. Not that you were like trying to get me out of Mormonism or anything, but I'm a naturally curious person. So once we started having conversations, again, just sharing our story.
That happened a year ago, and I stayed in the Christian community, but as kind of like giving assent to this stuff and taking communion and being a part of this. And so that's what's different now. I basically got to a point where I was like, I don't need to hold up any of that. I don't need my friends to think that I'm one of them in this sense. I don't need people on the internet to think. I mean, that's not really as much of a concern, I would say, in some ways. But it's really more like my marriage, my church community, basically the life that I have. And I apologize to Bethany because I haven't always been honest with her. And when we got married, I'd already started deconstruction, and I'd read quite a lot fewer books when we got married, and had listened to podcasts and stuff, and was already very friendly towards certain forms of progressive Christianity and stuff like that. And when I got married to Bethany, I thought, well, this is going to be a problem because, and I wanted Bethany, and I love her. And so at the time I was like, this is just going to cause problems in our relationship. So I was just like, all right, I believe that the Bible is your word, and I accept this authority and blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of tried to push myself over the edge to make it work. And that was disingenuous and a lack of integrity, honestly. And at the time, it was a weak thing to do. And and I didn't really know how to like stand up and just say, this is what I think, in the face of the anxiety that it could cause both in other people and in myself. So that's kind of changed. And so I've apologized to Bethany. Said,
Honestly, that was me when I got Mormon married. I was already, and I wasn't fully honest about maybe how, because it's terrifying. Like I saw people, not many people, most people have been nice, but I did see some people like giving them shit for like, oh, that's so deceitful that you didn't tell. But it's like,
it's not like that.
I feel like only someone who hasn't like experienced that could make that comment, because like it's terrifying. You feel deeply ashamed, and also you don't want to make it any more real because you so desperately want to be the thing that like, it's all coming from such a faithful place. So, oof. Yeah.
But still cool to like recognize like, I wasn't honest because I was living a life that wasn't like connected with my authenticity.
Yeah. And it's still valid. Like if Bethany has any type of feeling about that, like,
Totally.
that would suck to like get married under one pretense and then,
both can be totally valid.
So how's it been for you?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. That is a lot to share. Does that feel okay to share? Do you feel okay?
Yeah, I feel like I just kind of rammed through it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a big deal. So
It's a huge deal.
The active listening through the fucking roof. Mixed faith marriage this is aspirational mixed faith marriage active listening.
I'm getting teary-eyed.
This is what my clients dream of having with their spouse in a mixed faith marriage.
Seriously. Oh.
I know. Once again, I hope people, I don't know, people are going to be what they're going to be, but I hope people like realize again how significant that is.
It's a huge deal. Yeah.
Acknowledge that. It's a big deal to acknowledge it. And I mean, I would say it's not something that I would have like, I don't think when we got married, I would have thought you were going in this direction for sure. But I think maybe like a year or so into our marriage, just your interests and books and what you like to study and stuff, it was like, okay, I think that it was, I could start to see that coming in. But I mean, we've had conversations about this sort of stuff. I've not been like totally in the dark. For a while now, I would say. So I think that that's definitely been, I wouldn't say you've been like totally dishonest recently, maybe just
maybe at the very beginning.
Got the girl. It was, I could start to see that coming in. But I mean, we've had
a woman so hot, you'll cosplay full Christianity for her. Kind of a compliment.
Yeah, definitely.
A high value woman. You got to do what it takes. Oh, also, like, how she was like, did that feel okay to share? When we first watched this, we were like, wow, most like casual deconversion drop we've ever, do you know what I mean? The way he just kind of like came, I mean, I don't know if he's an atheist but just kind of like came out as like a non-believer.
As a deconstructed
like
person.
was very surprising. I wonder if they knew going into it how much they would share, whether you're just feeling into the moment and sometimes magic happens.
If anybody watching has any insight into what they were thinking beforehand, let us know in the comments.
I wouldn't say you've been like totally dishonest recently, maybe just
maybe at the very beginning.
Got the girl. Surprise.
Well, it wasn't like the next day I was like, surprise, I'm an atheist. You just did it with an atheist.
You just did it with an atheist. I loved seeing the comments of like
that one got the laughs in the comments for sure.
There should be some kind of like post-sex party favor you could like give out to someone and be like, congrats. You just did it with an atheist. You didn't ask, but now you know.
It's a bingo card with it X'd or whatever.
I mean, people have a lot of questions about that, like what I think, what you think, how that works in our relationship. I think that we are uniquely gifted to love each other and work through a relationship like this. I think that even though it's hard for me, it does not, I am not like, I don't know. I have so much love for you, and it is emotional. a lot of people have wondered and have asked, like, in the questions and stuff, how that is. And I am emotional, so we're just gonna roll with it. Or else I'll never finish. I think that, like, when I think back to, I think this is something that, like, I really believe, like, when I think back to when we got married, I still look back and it's like, I have so much confidence that we're supposed to be together. And I have so much confidence that we are, like, super uniquely gifted to, like, really love each other. And I think we have a, like, I think that we, and people have told us, like, you know, that we sought counsel from and stuff, just have been so encouraging and supportive of how we've been able to, like, press toward each other and love each other and have these conversations and not just, like, run away from each other in fear or, like, separate, but we've been able to, like, grow. And I, even though it's hard, this big difference of ours now, like, I think we love each other more now than we did, you know, 3 weeks ago, a year ago, when we got married, obviously.
Yeah. And we love you more than we did 3 weeks ago.
We're so sorry, Bethany.
Oh, this is so sweet.
Oh my God.
I think of how many LDS couples we have met, or, you know, people who have transitioned, had a faith transition in the LDS church, who would die for a conversation like this with their spouse or a family member. This is so sweet. And my heart goes out to her, because, like, even though I don't know exactly what your experience in Christianity has been like, Bethany, like, just having believed something so deeply and seen somebody else in that, and knowing, like, the complicated feelings that that creates, it is so difficult. And the fact that she's able to respond like this and have this conversation is just so touching and so inspiring.
I'm so glad they left in, like, the just, like, sitting in the moments of that. And oh God, it's like the realest thing on the internet.
And, like, my heart is filled with so much love for you, you know, and I want to be, like, I want to be the woman with you. Like, I don't want to be anywhere else, you know, like, I don't want a different man. Like, I want to be with you in this journey.
She's found a love that transcends codependency and enmeshment with Christianity.
Isn't that just, like, true love?
Yes,
and, like, the experience that we're seeking from these types of things is, like, not just love in the, like, ideological sense, like, oh yes, to love is to do this. It's like that trust in your heart that you know that, like, what you're feeling and experiencing is real and worth, like, whatever grief you're having to experience, to, like, keep enjoying and to beautify and enrich and enlarge that love. Like, this is so sweet.
And, like, some couples go through something like this, and the pure love they have for each other is what tells them, like, we need to be apart. But it's so nice just seeing an example where it's they're each seeing that they're, like, each other's people, and that this is a thing that it makes sense for them to do, to keep doing together, because they're a special couple.
Even though it is hard, I want to be with you. But it is hard. It's hard to think, like, I mean, we are going to church together right now. And you know, you are leading our family in, like, a morning devotional.
Damn, Dave.
Let's start zooming into their morning devotions.
Oh, you're just more careful with the words. Like, you say, like, this is what the Bible says, this is what the Bible teaches.
Yeah, I can tell Davey, because I'm thrilled if David, you know, Davey's, you know, learning about the Bible and all that. It's like, it's great, you know? Yeah, but I'll say things like, you know, the Bible teaches that God loves us, or something like that, rather than, like, oh, God loves us.
So good for a child's psyche.
Yeah.
God loves you. Pretty nice message.
Not too bad.
Pretty healthy.
God will send you to hell if you don't love him in exactly these ways.
A little bit damaging. Scary in that 0 to 6 period.
Also, I know we talk a lot about Dave's rear delts, but look at those forearms.
I'm trying to stay respectful and not comment on his physique too much, but yes, it's the elephant in the room.
I think this is an appropriate time to talk about the trend that we are starting to celebrate Dave's deconstruction. Deconstructing delts for Dave.
Delts for Dave.
If you want to say hell
it's
yeah
a
to
social
Dave,
movement.
Get those rear delts in order.
Yeah.
I'm getting mine in order for Dave, so that when we play pickleball, we do not leave them hanging.
Yeah. Damn, yeah, I should start that.
It's all in the rear delts.
That's what this body's been missing. When I look in the mirror, I'm like,
Rear delts.
I just need some rear delts, and then I think, oh, that's ideal.
It's really sweet. I think that that's the thing when you hear about like, oh, where like one couple deconstructs and the other doesn't. At least even having talked to friends and stuff, there can be a lot of like, I don't know, like even just that sort of stuff, like talking about the Bible or talking about Jesus or church can become like super high tension. But I've appreciated just like your maturity in that way of not being like, well, I'm not doing that, or don't, you know, don't teach the kids about that. You've been just like very, at least now, like seeing the value in the community of that, and just the value of at least our kids being there for now. And I think that, yeah, like Davey has such a genuine interest in like God and in the Bible, and I just really appreciate how you are willing to, you know, like, I don't know, feed that interest or whatever.
Love how just open-minded and mutually supportive they're being right now, and how like open they are to part of like the coolness of being like expanding beyond your culture is co-creating experience and life together. And to me, that is a spiritual practice, like co-creating life with life itself, but also like interpersonally, and that openness that they're expressing of like, this is where we are now.
Yeah.
We'll see. Like we want to like
is
continue
so-
growing together, and like I think that's just really beautiful and inspiring. All right, skipping ahead. Let's get to us.
Enough of your guys' journey. This isn't about you, okay?
Yeah, thanks for the tears. Now.
You know, a lot of people are asking questions about this part, like this, like people are asking like, what more are the differences? So he uses language and you don't. It's like,
Yeah, the cussing should probably be the least of your worries at this point.
What should the most of our
Because
worries
I've
be?
murdered a man. There's bodies in the basement, honey.
I lost God and immediately was like, time to kill. That was the only thing holding me back. That's blood he's drinking, by the way.
it's more of like our difference in our faith journey, our belief in Christ and the Word and like all of that. And yeah, like it's tough. Like I'm, you know, not going to pretend like I'm some superwoman and just like, oh, it's like, it's hard.
I know we don't, you don't have to be a superwoman.
Yeah.
It's all so valid. It's so tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like it is a lot, you know, but I you know, I want to, I think I was telling you today, like we have so many things that we, like, even just when I think back to like, I don't know, dating or whatever, it's like, just like the stuff we love to do together, the unique relationship we have. I mean, that's one of the reasons, like from the beginning when we started dating, I was like, I want to do YouTube with you.
As soon as I met you in college, I was like, I want to do YouTube with him. And then we did.
Then we did, yeah. When you know, you know.
When you know, you know.
I think we have like a willingness to be real and open and like not putting on a show and just like, just really like a fun relationship. And I just think that not in like a teaching sense, but just like in a sharing our life sense, that's something that I just have really loved about us. And so it's like, yeah, would it be awesome if we both just like shared the same faith like super strongly and just were like both felt so encouraged by that with each other? Of course, I think we'd both love that, you know, whatever that.
Yeah, being on the same page. Yeah, that'd be.
If I were like, yes, deconstruction, babe. I don't know.
I mean, it might have crossed my mind. Like, hey.
And if
I'll just have to make deconstruction look absolutely attractive, just like the most loving husband.
Not them flirting. Once again, Dave turning deconstruction into the hottest new kink. The tension of it always perfect for erotic vibrancy. That's all I'll say. And I'm seeing it here today.
Wow. Well, let's hype up the Bethany Dave YouTube. Girlies, hit them up in the comments. We're taking this channel.
Everyone
to
already
the
has
top.
been.
Yeah,
I've been
good,
loving
yeah.
it. I love reading the comments. So many. It's fun seeing the ex-Mormon community jump in to support them because they're like, nobody gets it more than us.
Yeah, totally. And of course, get your delts for Dave.
Don't sleep on the whole delts thing like some of us have been doing.
I would say that, you know, in a year, I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say.
Oh man, can you imagine what happened in a week?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen in a year?
I mean, it's like, I love our kids. I love you.
Yeah.
I love
Kids
the
are
life
really-
we're building together. I have so much excitement for just the family that we've been given, potentially in the future, more, you know, it's like, just like the adventures, like we've have so many dreams of like places we want to travel, things we want to do.
Our Costa Rica trip.
Of kids when it's just all
Like
of
going
that.
to Costa Rica?
It's just all
Like
of
going
that.
to Costa Rica?
Costa Rica.
David Michael Beale.
This is where we had a full meltdown.
This is where our psyches and personas just melted
Once
into-
again, such an unhinged validation of our narcissism.
I'm like, am I having a schizoid episode where I'm like, the TV's talking
Am I a
directly to
beautiful
me?
minding right now? Did Dave just a beautiful mind me?
Yeah,
Obviously
beautiful
lost
minds,
the plot. I already have had like replied to like 500 of you in our DMs and stuff being like, did you say the favorite? So like I feel like we've already kind of like gone through this as a group. But yeah, obviously he's talking about our Costa Rica trip. Of course he is. You're right.
Wow, you never think it'll hit as hard the second time,
Yeah.
but it really does.
Drugs.
The benefit of being a stoner, you forget it all the first
Fight
time.
the new drug. Rewatching
Memory.
Dave.
They're calling memory the new smoking.
Nostalgia fries your neurotransmitters.
I think you have to look at your life and anyone at any time. I mean, there are people who have a lot more in common than the two of us and who are way more miserable, you know? It's like we don't have that in common right now, but the way that I don't know.
Yeah, it's, a lot of high control groups or like intensely religious communities really value homogeny as kind of a marker of closeness. But what these two are showing us and the rest of the internet is that that's not true. You know, it's if we are just able to tolerate each other's differences in this world, intimacy is not compromised by differences necessarily. Like it's compromised by a demand for homogeny. Like these two were further apart and not as close when Dave was really trying to be the same thing.
Yeah.
So stunning. We love it.
It's
Sorry I said it like that.
I'm not. Yeah, we definitely were given the idea. The LDS Church is like very outspoken. Dallin H. Oaks particularly very outspoken about like diversity is not the intention of the Lord. Unity is. And it's like, no, diversity is what makes us beautiful. It's what gives us our strength. It's what gives us like, but that's biologically, we're enriched genetically by if you get too close, things start to melt down, you know? In a garden, you're not just like, oh, 1,000 of the same flower, that's beautiful. It's like all the different types of flowers that make it beautiful. And, you know, everyone's skills in every different area and people's background and perspective coming together that makes the world and people so beautiful.
Am I crazy or is this a really good time to share our favorite Ram Dass quote about the trees?
This is a great
I'm just
time.
like, if not now, when?
Yeah.
Let's get into it. 3-hour video. Who cares? I'd be focused on this whether or not we were on camera.
Yeah, this is. We
as
would just
well
be
do
sitting
it
here
with
talking
them.
to each other about this.
All right, here's a quote from Ram Dass. When you go out into the woods and you look at trees, you see all these different trees, and some of them are bent, and some of them are straight, and some of them are evergreens, and some of them are whatever. And you look at the tree and you allow it. You see why it is the way it is. You sort of understand that it didn't get enough light, and so it turned that way. And you don't get all emotional about it. You just allow it. You appreciate the tree. The minute you get near humans, you lose all that. And you're constantly saying, you're to this, or I'm to this. That judging mind comes in. And so I practice turning people into trees, which means appreciating them just the way they are. Should we continue?
Let's go. That was a beautiful quote. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. That's one of my
If it-
favorite RD. One of my favorite
Dog.
Ram to ass quotes.
Yeah.
That's a joke that he himself makes, by the way.
Press play. I can't keep adjusting my shoulder.
Yeah, I got it. All right, on to the S bits.
To the aspects.
When it comes to the comments, the places that I've looked at comments are the Instagram Reels, like that Paul and Morgan post and that we've collabed on. There's like a lot of comments on those, like snippets from the video.
Yeah.
And then obviously like the main Paul and Morgan 24 Hours With, that has a lot of comments. And then they did a reaction video to their own video.
To their video.
And that was fun to watch.
Now they're doing a reaction
they
to
have
their
those good
video, and we're
comments on
doing a
there.
reaction to their video. Who
other
will
video
react
I've
to
watched
us?
of that
No
was
one. You're not allowed.
Thanks to your recommendation, is the Zelf on the Shelf video with Sam and
Tanner.
Tanner.
Samantha
I had-
and Tanner. Shout out to Samantha and Tanner of Zelf on the Shelf. They're two beautiful people, and the world is better for them.
It's the eye contact we're sharing through a Sony C whatever this is to me. I'm blushing. I can't even make eye contact anymore.
I had never heard of them. I don't watch like anything on YouTube, like any videos about me, about Girl Defined. Like people might be like, that's the main critic of Girl Defined. And it's like, I've never heard of them because I literally do not spend any time on Reddit, any time on YouTube. Like,
You're not saying Zelf on the Shelf is the main critic?
No. I'm just saying like I don't know a lot about it. So Zelf on the Shelf has made videos about Girl Defined. I had never heard of them.
We are the main stalker. It's a totally different energy.
This is true because I think some people do think like you watch reaction videos and stuff like that, or you're scrolling Reddit or something, and it's not that way.
I don't.
Yeah, she does not watch this stuff.
But
I don't watch. I would watch
either.
hardly any of it. It's just that happened to be.
How'd you come across the Zelf on the Shelf video?
It was because
it was
I
only
was
like
preparing.
a few days ago. You found
it was
them.
like a week or
a week ago. Okay, yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
So because we were going to meet with our pastor, and I was thinking, okay, what are the things that I want to bring up? And so I was kind of googling like Girl Defined videos. So I was listening to like Girl Defined videos, and then some of the reaction stuff, and I stumbled upon Zelf on the Shelf. It was like
Moment of appreciation for Tanner's thumbnail making skills coming up.
Was it one with you?
Yeah,
It was seeing your face.
It was like the Barbie review and the our conversation.
It's got to be so surreal to be like going through the internet and seeing your face on a
Because
thumbnail.
it's not been Dave's career.
And then stumbling into a community of people who are like, about you. It's got to be weird.
Who are
You're like, that's me.
Like that's
me.
And then I started listening to it, and I kind of got hooked on Zelf on the Shelf.
Because you were like, these people worship the God I want.
You can't prove that in a court of law. You got no evidence to back that up.
That was solid. Yeah, because they worship the ground. It's like,
sorry.
oops, all worship.
No.
Yes, they
do. It doesn't. I like them.
I do too. I get it.
It's like that doesn't come into it. It's just that they're simply perfect. Talking about us is immediately leading to more cuteness. That she's pulling him in like because these two psychopaths have been
Guys, when this is
crushing on him so hard.
when this is all over in like a week, I'm gonna have such a
Calm down.
dopamine crash.
Yeah.
That is, I'm gonna be like bedridden for a week. I have just been like,
We're gonna like get the flu. I haven't had the flu yet for a while.
instant measles. All right.
I feel a lot of affirmation from them, and that's very sweet. But and I like these people.
No, and
So he was like, oh, you know, like they seem cool. You'd probably like them, whatever. So this is just a side tangent. So then I was like, okay, I don't watch like any. That's like Paula Morgan's reaction was the only thing I was planning on watching. I don't Google, I don't YouTube, I don't look at anything. But that specific one, I like went straight to the channel and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I definitely appreciate their like kind, gracious way they went about like discussing it and stuff. They call themselves like ex-Mormons, or they are ex-Mormons, or
we're ex-members of the Restored Church of Jesus, of the Corporation Soul of the President of the Church of Jesus Christ.
You guys
of Latter-day
actually don't
Saints.
know the real Jesus. Only the Mormons do. So you need to call them the true Restored Church of Jesus Christ, despite having no faith in the religion. That's just something you have to do. Otherwise, it's hate speech.
Welcome to our little corner of the world.
You're gonna hate it here.
So I think they're a good representation of like unpacking a video in a kind, gracious way. At least that one. At least that video of theirs.
At least that one. At least that one.
At least that one.
We're
growing
all on
too.
a growth journey.
It's not linear.
We would be unevenly yoked if we'd been perfect this whole time.
That is so true.
There's no relatability or connection in that.
No.
We're just four messy girl bosses figuring it out.
Yes. And we can right this wrong. I know we can.
Through skits.
Oh my God. Think of the skits.
Think of the skits. Please become monthly donors via PayPal or Patreon, beloved viewers who want to see skits.
Okay. In that vein, I don't think we talked about it in here, but hater lovers.
Oh, yeah.
Critic? Okay. Just dream with me for a little bit.
I always do, Dave.
Way ahead of you, Dave.
Sidebar, we can still have some jokes. That's what made them love us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's part of the bit.
Yeah.
I can't just turn off my crush. It would be weirder if I did
It would
that.
be weirder, yeah.
That would be like admitting it's real.
He'd be like,
it's-
"You're not being authentic. You're lacking integrity." I have no
You'd
longer.
see it me a mile off.
We talked about the haters or critics and people. And when one person's thinking about haters, they're thinking about the people trying to actively remove you from social media and get you banned and coming after you and giving you death threats and all kinds of terrible things. And then somebody else might be thinking, oh, somebody who has a different point of view, who's pointing out that they think your view is harmful and stuff like that. So critic levels. Maybe hater is the premium package, where it's like the platinum. We have a wonderful platinum package to offer you, and the platinum package is full on hater of that nature, and then level 1 is the bronze package, which is like or silver.
The bronze package.
I don't know, just like somebody who disagrees with views, thinks your views are harmful, something like that.
That would be Zelf on the Shelf. They would be level 1.
They would be level 1.
They definitely disagree. And
we actually have a difference.
Dave's like, I won't even give them the level 1.
It's like they have their own platinum.
No, platinum is for like haters.
Oh, gotcha.
He's trying to say level 1 is like people that aren't haters, but they just criticize. Which, like, Bethany's right. Like, we have done that, so we are level 1. But Dave's like, we have different. Love you, Dave.
Fair. I can totally understand why we would get ranked differently between them. Yeah, both valid.
Opinion. Well, that's they think that your views are harmful. Right.
Yeah, so they would be level 1, which would be more of like a critic. Not a hater. I wouldn't put them in the hater camp at all.
Right. You're not a hater.
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced friend, but
I think it's pronounced come on our Costa Rica trip. It is pronounced friend.
It really, really is.
And that's just super cool and casual.
I'm sorry. I feel like my head is floating away on a balloon. I don't
I've
feel
been
like I'm really
dissociating
here.
for a day. Full day. 24 hours dissociated in my 24 hours. It's gonna be like 695 hours of exclusively thinking about this collab by the time this is over.
Just like rocking.
Yeah, but like they would be in that level 1 of like being critic and thinking some views are like, oh, these are hateful, damaging to the world, while also plummeting the depths. They plummet the depths of the Reddits and sometimes repeat things that are completely false and untrue. And so it's like,
sorry, Bethany.
We have been known to peddle misinformation for cheap thrills on YouTube.
You are so famous and you have such beautiful natural blonde hair. I just got caught up. I didn't know which way was up and down.
Yeah, which is just, that part is unfortunate to me. It's like, oh, like a channel like that, I do think they have so much going for them. And it's a little unfortunate to me when it's like, okay, why are you repeating some of these major talking points that are so completely false without like for sure knowing? So it's like, I really appreciate when channels on that level who are critics, it's easier to listen and to really accept like that feedback when they don't like repeat the random talking points, which not in the most recent video, but in some
we
previous
both watched
ones.
the most recent video today together.
Yeah, I mean, people always ask, like, do you have any friends who are not just like you?
I'm sorry. What is it?
People are always like, do you have any friends who aren't just like you? And here's the reality, though. Like, we are
Immediate transition to new friendship from they watched our video together today.
Hope that was a little treat.
Hope that helped.
like, we are super open to, like, having friends who think differently. For heck, I married you, and
For
you're...
heck. You heard it
For
here,
heck.
folks.
It's like, I married you, and I still love you, and we have a blast
And
together.
She's not an idiot. Like, Bethany knew from the beginning that I was kind of cookie cutter.
No, you weren't. That's what attracted me to you, for sure.
I was
It's
like,
just
hey,
like...
babe, I can welcome you to the dark side. Come
No.
with me, babe.
I didn't think you were going down a deconstruction route, but I really admired your integrity, which was one of the things that I've talked over and over again is what I've loved most about you.
Yeah.
And it's your integrity that is taking you down
Which
this
is
path
random.
of deconstruction.
It's
So
kind
it's
of
like,
an irony.
yeah, but I choose you today, babe.
I did get some positive comments.
I will give a shout out to the Zelf on the Shelf. They have a lot of quotable lines that were funny that we've been quoting.
Oh,
Lots
I
of
feel this is
quotable
their
lines.
best. With the
This
videos
one.
I've seen, they are at their their funniest.
Yeah, it's funny.
They were like,
Bro, are you even listening to the Claymation podcast?
Please. Coincidentally, they're their very best in the episode where they cannot contain themselves over their love for me.
yeah. I'm
was a lot of
starting
funny
to
stuff, yeah.
get like t-shirts and stuff. T-shirts and stuff.
Like, whoa, dangerous thoughts there, my guy.
Not even the nature of the Godhead, babe.
Now we are reacting to ourselves. I read the Torah, bro.
And I'm just like, yes, hold me, Janet.
I do want the hold me, Janet.
There are so many people.
Not them making a fucking our literal love language. Literally, like a montage has always a comedy montage.
I literally, my first job was as a graphic designer, and I literally only learned Photoshop so that I could make funny little photo edits like that. If that tells you anything about me and my background and where I'm coming from.
Once again, how we bonded in college.
The bits. Wow, the fact that is so fun. And we're gonna respond with a few t-shirts of our own.
Yeah, screw you guys. Enjoy this montage.
We see your montage and raise you
A
as our own
different kind of
children.
one. Also, please adopt us.
I mean, we'll probably should wrap it up because it's
Yeah.
late and we're both. We have to.
Early, I'm yawning.
Yeah, I know.
We have to go.
All in. I mean, huge shout out to Paul and Morgan. Go support them on their Patreon. Go follow them on YouTube.com.
Or I raise you, support us on our Patreon or become a PayPal monthly donor so that we can make magic happen. Maybe. Guys, please. Please become monthly donors. I cannot stress this enough.
Who knows with this Dave and Bethany channel, whatever it's called. I don't know what the future of it is, but we posted this video.
Who knows? You're a beautiful human being.
That's it.
Bye.
Wow, we did it. We did it. We watched the Dave and Bethany video
Oh, we did it.
and we loved it.
I
Like
just
the very first time.
How do we move on from this? How do we like go about our normal day-to-day lives?
I don't know. I guess there'll be the discourse around us posting this video and that will sustain us.
Until our eventual what? We just keep writing more and more dopamine
think
until what?
Eventually, we have to go to Texas, and then it will just it'll be what, and then that will, yeah.
Yep.
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 Life is a journey,
And it's not always linear. You know that?
and sometimes Jesus takes the wheel, and sometimes you say, "No, Jesus, I'm going to take the wheel right now."
Yeah. And he says that is when.
Yeah. He's like, "I honor your desires because I love you so much. Because you're so perfect, and your rear delts are incredible."
Wow. This was just.
What a journey!
You don't get a lot of days like this on YouTube, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's not desensitized to just the absurdity of it all and like how ridiculously obsessed and delusional we were, and how it's yielded a shirt montage love letter.
That is 2 shirt montage.
And now, yeah, the birth of our new child, the new montage. Yeah, I guess we just wrap up here, guys. I can't wait to see you in the comments. Love you all. Is this it?
This is it.
So
wow.
hard to end a video.
Thank you for helping co-create this
Seriously.
series of moments.
If
for
you
us.
watch our channel, thank you. And thank you for everyone who's just kind of contributing to the discourse in like a fun, nice way instead of like a scary, horrible way, you know?
Yeah, hopefully we're all in this together, learning how to be better people wherever we're from, whatever groups we belong to or ideologies we maintain. Hopefully we're all learning. Thank you always to our Patreon supporters. We could not do any of this without you. Love you so much.
Bye, guys. See you soon for more incredible HD content. Time can make you blind, but I see you now as we're